Now's the vibrate. Y'all know what it is. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past right now. Let's it with the OG intro. God bless it with the OG intro. What's up? Nicole Goddess 100 official. Entwining roots. Peace, peace. Appreciate that message earlier on IG. Let me know how the visual and the audio is, everybody. Wow. About to bring it back even more old school. Cause this why it's how it started and why it started, and even know why, technically. You know what I'm saying? I just knew like, bro, I just had to get on YouTube and just share and express myself. I'll find out later on what was the real meaning behind it too. I mean, there's multiple layers, of course. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, oh, now I see I got Chiron and Gemini. And what's funny is, like, again, because the way you're wired, it's some stuff like you're just not meant to see until later, until you get the positive. Because sometimes, like, say, for instance, you know, if you're still in that programming of like, you know, like of watching the news or just that programming of society where something gets presented, but then you're only kind of just programmed to pull the negative from it. So if you see your Chiron and Gemini, you only see the negative from it instead of the positive, or, you know, or you see any type of placement, but you only see the negative in it and not the positive aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? I realized like, all right, that's why I wasn't aware of my Chiron till later. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just meant to hit the ground running almost quite literally, you know what I'm saying? With the videos, you know, and bring it back old school. Hence why I always gave the disclaimer. I am not your guru. You know what I'm saying? I am growing and, you know what I'm saying, learning, you know what I'm saying, just as much as you. And really now officially, my YouTube channel has been for my own healing purposes. Like, so, you know, I'm grateful that with healing myself, people have been able to, you know what I'm saying, learn and pick up little, you know, knowledge, wisdom, or pick up little knowledge and pick up things that they are able to, you know what I'm saying, apply. But it's like, dang, the whole time. But again, I didn't find out I had Chiron and Gemini till recently, you know. And then now it's like, all right, it makes so much sense, you know what I'm saying? But again, it was for me to, you know, get into it a little later, you know. And Chiron, again, the quote unquote wounded healer. That's also Chiron is the child of Kronos. So Chiron is the child of Saturn. Mythology is anatomy by law. You know what I'm saying? Cause and effect, or karma, gives birth to wounded healers, quite literally. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you look at that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's not to say Kronos just bred, you know what I'm saying, or time or karma just breeds wounded healers. You know, Chiron wasn't the only child of, you know, the Saturn energy in that essence. But, you know, you see like, all right, Chiron, you know, is a child of Saturn, you know what I'm saying? And like, again, like, being a child of Saturn, having to learn how to deal with, you know, in essence, our typical father or father's energy, you know what I'm saying? Of cause and effect and karma, you know. You know, again, the mythology, astrology, anatomy, you know, it's all and even seeing, you know, like the symbolism, because also the wounded healer is Chiron is connected to Apollo, you know, and Apollo seen as a healer, seen as the sun energy, you know, and I want to say Asclepius, you know, connected to the Kundalini and the healing energy as well, you know, hence the whole, you know, serpent and the Kundalini, you know, and on a quick notion, and I say quick, but a dream, you know, I had in connection with, you know, just the symbology of that healing, you know, and that Chiron energy, you know, and it's so indirect because it's funny because it's like it's a baseball game. I was at a baseball game, a simple baseball game, and it was just for me to remember, you know, who the teams were, you know what I'm saying? But basically it was the Arizona Diamondbacks, you know, Snakes, the Arizona Diamondbacks against the Minnesota Twins, you know, and Gemini is known as the twins. And, you know, and also we think about duality known as the twins, you know what I'm saying? In essence, you know, again, yin and yang, you know, it's almost like a twin energy, so to speak. And that's what Gemini speaks to, you know, just as much as it's about Mercury and communication and speaking and writing and expression, you know, it's also about, you know, the dual nature of things, you know what I'm saying? And again, the serpent representing the wave, you know, that moves from the, you know, whether we talking about the Ida and Pingala, you know, going up the spine, you know, creating that balance, moving in that curve, balancing out those twins, you know. But it is, you know what I'm saying, with that dream, you know, again, just was simply pointing me to, you know, that connection with the Kundalini and the dual nature, or yin and yang nature, and in essence let me know, like, you know, in essence, like, that's the thing to, for lack of a better word, not even say work on, but, you know, to deal with or to focus on, in essence, is like, again, making sure there's some form of healing those twins, healing that dual nature, you know what I'm saying, bringing that oneness, you know what I'm saying, that wholeness, you know, into the situation. You say cathartic video making. Yeah, you know, I definitely was going in, but, you know, realizing, you know, simply put, again, to just, you know, trust what you have going on, you know what I'm saying? Not even knowing, like, all right, that's why I was just feeling so guided, you know, and a part of the Chiron and Gemini energy, you know, is wounds of suppressed expression. And this, and no coincidence that this is connected to the first eye chakra health and imposter syndrome. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dang, you know, like how that all connects. Because a part of what I spoke on with the first eye chakra health, where it spoke to, like, if you had to, like, if you felt like you had to hush yourself about your metaphysical or physical experiences, you know what I'm saying, that could kind of create like a certain wound, you know what I'm saying, and you're not confident at expressing yourself, you know what I'm saying. And again, like with certain energies of, you know, like having your smartness suppressed, you know, like as if something is wrong for you for being, you know, intellectual, or something wrong with you for, you know, so for being aware of yourself, you know what I'm saying, just in general, you know what I'm saying. And again, with any of these wounds and things of this nature, you know, coming from our childhood, we understand that it's not about blaming our parents. It's not my, it's not like, oh, it's my mom's fault. Like, no, like I chose this path, you know what I'm saying? I chose, my parents, I chose, you know what I'm saying, to, and it may not feel like choice again when we say that, because it's like, oh, but that's the amnesia, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I chose this, and at any rate, like, let's just say, all right, you don't even know if you chose it or not. Now is the vibrate. Who are my parents? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, obviously I'm gonna have to, again, like, move from where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, it's not to blame. And, it's about healing those generational curses. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, happy new moon. We tapping in on the 333 energy, which is the 9 energy on April 19th, the 1 through 9 energy. Live now, number 27, which adds up to 9. So it's gonna be some some healing vibes in this. But yeah, it's just definitely with the Chiron and Gemini, again, suppression of your speaking abilities, suppression of your ability to express yourself, and then also, again, other aspects of the Chiron and Gemini could be mental healing. Gemini deals with Mercury energy. Mercury energy deals with the mental aspect, you know what I'm saying? And so many words, air, you know what I'm saying? Again, the air element, the mental aspect, and our words, you know what I'm saying? So our words and our mental aspect. So Chiron and Gemini, some mental healing, you know what I'm saying, is definitely necessary. And then also with the dual nature, you can see it as duality or balancing extremes, you know what I'm saying? Balancing polarities, and then again, also it may be wounds with the energy of being like indecisive, you know what I'm saying? Like being a little too indecisive, and wounds with freedom of choice. You might have had your choice, manipulated in the past, felt like you wasn't really given a choice. So it might be a wound there. And people with displacement tend to oh yeah. And what's up, Piccolo son? Peace, peace. Right. The Chiron being a wounded healer, and then Mercury, or again the caduceus staff. So it's all connected. But for people, and just in general, I do feel like, and much love to Miss Melanie, the spirit doula, you know what I'm saying? Because she's another person who brings up this a lot, you know what I'm saying? She brings up working with our Chiron placement. And again, I don't have it right here, but like the Chiron placement and your North Node, South Node placements, again, is going to give you a lot of awareness about, your repeated cycles or patterns or wounds. I call them lesson loops. Some people say, they know how to read the patterns. You know how to read your lesson loops. You know how to read your cycles, because that is a language. You know what I'm saying? Like the cycles, lesson loops. Again, and I made a video a while back about like understanding our own cycles, knowing your own winter cycle, spring cycle, fall, and summer cycle, like, knowing how that aligns for you, And again, though, before I go into the Chiron, I gotta dial back a little bit and just, you know what I'm saying, again, because I did, and I'm grateful for that, because that's another reason why I set up my platform to be able to speak in a manner where I could speak freely. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to, like I knew not to try to create this perfect image. You know, it's like something always, like again, like, oh, don't force yourself to. Now again, of course, you do want to produce quality things, and you do want to, like again, like wanting quality cameras, you know, quality equipment, things of this nature, you know. But it's definitely an energy with me that was always there to kind of just keep things, you know, like, because I also feel like it helps the subconscious of others see, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, like, again, as much as I'm excelling or, you know, whatever it seems on the outside looking in, like I'm also, you know what I'm saying, continuously, you know, learning and growing just as much as you. And again, hence why I always gave that disclaimer, like, hey, I'm not your guru. You know, anything I'm sharing on here is me sharing my journey, you know, and although I get to, you know, little bullet points and wanting to share from that perspective of like, hey, you know, this is how you could help yourself. And it may come off as quote unquote teaching. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for my healing purposes, for healing purposes only, for healing purposes only. You know what I'm saying? You know, and again, as I brought up, you know, that energy of, you know, creating this channel to embrace my imperfections, you know, it's a balance. Like embracing my imperfections doesn't mean being in mediocrity or, you know, lowballing myself or, you know, trying to keep the bar low. You know what I'm saying? It's just, again, like it's my platform. I want to be comfortable on it. So I'm not going to come on my platform trying to act like or be like, you know, somebody that you know, like the energy is not going to be maintained because it's not authentic. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd rather just, you know, be straightforward, me as much as possible. All right, Mr. Kevin Johnson. Have you found anything on edible crystals? Only edible crystals I'm aware of in which they're not technically edible. You know what I'm saying? And that's the first thing that came to mind was DMT. But I mean, you know, honestly, you know, on a deep level or just let's say simplistic level, you know what I'm saying? The fruits and veggies that you eat, you know, in essence, you know, it's like eating crystals, but I can't say it may not be exactly like eating, you know, certain crystals because yes, you know, certain crystals have a molecular structure and a certain geometry, and a geometry gives off a certain energy. You know, the way the crystal was grown in the earth gives off a certain energy. But, you know, at the least, you know, some of these fruits and vegetables have some of the same minerals, you know, or should I say some of the same elements that's in they have some of the same elements that's in, you know, your crystals, you know. This new moon right now, man, my energy is on that vibe of, you know, elevating, stepping into that power strong, you know what I'm saying? Not letting nobody, not letting anything or nobody, you know what I'm saying? And really like not letting your own inner voices, you know what I'm saying? Or your own attachments to, you know, certain people, places, or things disrupt anything, you know what I'm saying? Like stepping into that power, you know, not playing small, but being again, but and being authentically true to who you are, you know what I'm saying? The New moon is also a solar eclipse. The moon kind of coming out, the emotional subconscious body is going to kind of block out the conscious body a little bit. And more so from our perspective here in this plane of existence, because if you was viewing it from another dimension, or you had that hawk's eye view, technically it wouldn't seem like anything is being blocked. You know what I'm saying? And that lets you know, like, again, like different dimensions. Again, a hawk flying in the sky, while there's a traffic jam, on the earth level, you know what I'm saying? All a person could see in that traffic jam is that traffic jam, and they stopped in it while, something flying. And that's what also, like, that, the dimension of air and water, you know what I'm saying? Both similar. Just in essence, I would say even air is almost like a different form of water. But, like, that's that only space where something could be anywhere around you. You know what I'm saying? Like something could be way floating on top of you, way on side of you, in front of you, under you. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like on this level physically, like, only kind of like right in front of you, like a person would have to levitate, you know what I'm saying? Like with the earth experience, a person would have to levitate to be like floating over your head or something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So that puts in perspective at the intelligence, that these animals, are beings in essence receive from these points of view, you know what I'm saying? From those perspectives or those angles, you know what I'm saying? Being in the sky or being in the water, you get to get a lot of different perspectives and angles compared to, the physical aspect. And again, though, that's where we, tap in spiritually, though, you know what I'm saying? And we get into the astral body, and we're able to, move through those dimensions. But as I bring up the astral body, and this is something, which it is what it is. Everybody who's meant to, watch the videos gonna watch. Who's meant to leave is gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to please anybody, but I definitely see where things are becoming more grounded. Having a more grounded approach to things. Like, of course, we gonna stay multi-dimensional, tapped in. But it's always gonna be bringing it into, you know what I'm saying? Like, like how is it applicable? You know what I'm saying? How does this apply? We're going to talk about, past lives and all these dimensions. How does this apply to my right now? Because I'm right now, because I feel like, there's some form, and with some of us is necessary. Again, you got to know yourself. Sometimes that little, a lot of people with a lot of Pisces placements in essence, you know what I'm saying, might need that little Neptune-ish escape a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Which is something to be aware of. Hence why, again, like a lot of stuff is about grounding, because Neptune is going to go into Aries, soon. I want to say in 2025, and that's going to, you have to be aware of like all the mental illusions. And again, it ain't just illusions. Got to be aware of, dealing with, again, Aries dealing with the mental aspect, Neptune dealing with, going into delusions, going into, substance abuse, things of this nature, you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, again, like you could take that Neptune energy with that Aries energy and Mars energy and make sure dreams come true, you know what I'm saying? By not being delusional. So it's either, being in a delusion or actually using that Aries energy, that drive, that one energy, that innovative energy, you know what I'm saying, to maximize, these things that, you envision that once seemed impossible, but, it's like, oh shit, it's possible, but And again, like brought up in the Yu-Gi-Oh video, much love to the bro Bridge of Rock coming through and blessing us with the knowledge and awareness. You know, again, not going extremely inward, not going extremely outward. You know, it's balance. You know, literally, it comes down to the balance. How to harmonize the kingdoms within. Because as Piccolo's son, you said it earlier, you know, like being our own parents or whatever, you know, like, yeah, you know, it's like ultimately, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I'm cleaning up my own stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with me, I'm healing me, you know, and not healing from a perspective of saying something is quote unquote wrong with me, but just knowing that, all right, being sad continuously is not something that I would feel is very healthy for me. So it's not saying that something is wrong with that. It's just a state of being that, you know, in essence, just looking at what the output is. If you're like continuously balled up and sad, like you ain't going to be enjoying your life, you ain't going to be creating a family, you're not going to be being of service to others. So, you know, that's something that's obviously, you know what I'm saying, not healthy. You know, as much as we do embrace those moments, embrace those sad emotions, anger, all that, you know what I'm saying, it's not for extended period. You feel me? Let me check my. All right, cool. But oh yeah, and again, the new moon setting that intention. And again, what the Chiron aspects. You know, what Chiron aspects do y'all have, if y'all don't mind sharing? Because I know that energy too. You shouldn't be forced to share. You shouldn't feel guilt tripped into sharing if you feel like you shouldn't share. You feel me? That's another thing too. I'm moving forward without all the ghost stories, without all the, oh, they watching me and I mean, I get it, you know what I'm saying? I know it's inner and outer for sure, you know what I'm saying? But it starts with me first and foremost, you know? I'm not into the, you know, the external blame. Libra, all right. Chiron and Libra. Yeah, probably some wounds with, not probably, you know, wounds connected with relationships. I would say Libra would also, in essence, like Gemini, like that air energy and then a balance energy, because, you know, Libra is scale. So that's almost like balancing the duality as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, having to work on, you know, probably wounds of, you know, dealing with family or relationships. Also wounds of decision making, wounds in connection with the Venus energy, so aesthetic and artistic expression. Yeah. West Combs said Aries. Yep, all right. Chiron, Aries. It's like wounds of the energy of the number one energy, you know. So that's like wounds in the area of innovation, or like, you know, like expressing your own ideas, you know, not so much expressing, but, you know, like delivering, you know, because Aries is just active in its innovation. So it might not necessarily be speaking, you know, it could be actions, but I mean, it's all actions, but, you know, wounds in the area of, could still be like mental aspects as well, but like wounds in the area of like your own ideas, and connecting with your own ideas, and, you know, having that confidence in your perspective, you know. All right, Aries, word. That's another thing too, you know, I realize how much I've helped people by just like keeping it like, bam, say what you just say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't bite your tongue, just say that shit, you know, and realizing like, damn, you know, like in those moments when I was about to bite my tongue or not make a video or not say something, you know, but I actually followed through. Then later it's like, man, that shit connected, bro. If you, bro, that, you know, it's like, all right. And that's getting over the wound. It's like, all right, I'm gonna continuously keep on just like bam, bam. Like, and when I think about it, I'm like, dang, bro, that's why. And that's why I'm so grateful. You know, again, like also what you see is an example of, again, like intuitively just being in alignment with what's best for you. If you just, again, cleanse yourself, meditate, and clear out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just gonna become like, you know, like clockwork. You know, 1,700 videos later, how much, you know, at least 7 years later, you know what I'm saying? And that's dope too, like to be so into it where, you know, I wasn't really, and it's like not really looking, you know, counting it, and then looking like, dang, all right, 7 years, you know, 7 years of me healing myself by talking to myself on YouTube. In the words of Manny Fresh, this is truly beautiful. Say you're not sure about Chiron aspects. Yeah, I'm not too I'm not super familiar with Vedic. I mean, I done checked my sidereal astrology, or sidereal, however people want to say it. Tomato. But yeah, the sidereal astrology, I definitely peeped that. And I mean, automatically though, just take my Western, and, you know, it goes what, 22 degrees back, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. You know, so whatever your Western is, go 22 degrees backwards into the previous sign, and that's what your so like, again, Capricorn and Western, Capricorn Sun Western, it would be Sagittarius, you know. I know some of y'all are familiar with this, just, you know, kind of. Birthday who passed, and one of my best friends born the day after passing. Now that's a long story. Yeah. North Node in Gemini. All right. As a matter of fact, the more I study my chart, like the more I see like it's like weird, like little connections. Not say weird, but like unique, and like little patterns, you know, to the connection. My Chiron and Gemini is also connected to my 12th house, and the 12th house deals with Pisces energy. You know, automatically I'll think of the Pisces energy. You know, I think of also like that energy of sometimes like overextending ourselves spiritually, trying to help everybody before we're helping ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So hence why, again, also I realized like, oh, dang, that's why I am on point with making sure that, you know, I have my little moments to myself and finding that balance. I'm not for myself. I know me personally, you know what I'm saying, regardless of how many spirit guides and how much I know I got other beings around me, I do like my social experiences, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not one to, you know, want to go into the extreme of that, you know, loner, you know, being by myself energy. But I see that it is necessary at certain points for me to just kind of, you know, get familiar with my own energy, because also Pisces placements in general has to deal with sensitivity to others' energies, and not only being sensitive, but then you want to like try to go out your way to help them without helping yourself. And that's why also doing deep energy work and just really understanding what's going on is so important, because it's toxic. And it's like a guilt, like it's an energy of like guilt or something, like you feel like you gotta like try to, you know, overcompensate, you know, or should I say like when there's certain things not going well in certain areas, you know, trying to overcompensate, like by trying to like, all right, well, I'm gonna just help a lot of people and that's going, it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like you should never feel guilty or feel like, you know, shamed into like trying to overextend yourself. Everybody's uniquely different. You know, it ain't about trying to sit around and compare. Peace, love, heal. What I also would like to know too is like how many popular people I just but how many thriving, flourishing beings have Lilith moon in Cancer? Cause I don't hear or see it too much, you know, and that's something, you know, like dealing with, you know, transmuting again, like that controlling mother energy, you know. And more so, again, it's like internally, it's like you letting it talk to you inside your head, and you gotta get that shit from out of you, you know. And then externally, you know, the circumstances and situation is gonna change as well. Yeah, you gotta know when to, you know what I'm saying, take your little break, go into your little corner, do your little Harlem shake. And matter of fact, and no coincidence that that's in the Healing Towel, you know what I'm saying, book, like shake the limbs, shake that energy off, shake the legs, all that shit. Harlem shake it. But ultimately though, you know, again, it's like just follow through with, you know, trust that feeling, you know, trust that urge, you know. Might feel that urge to do something, and again, like start my YouTube channel. It's like I just felt like I needed to, share. Didn't know why. Like it didn't say in my mind, which subtly I could feel that was a part of it though. Like I'm like, it just feels so healing to be able to express my point of view. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been suppressed, so much and told like, oh, I'm too out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's just too out there, or you know what I'm saying? When I'm really just being smart and and educated about what it is I'm speaking on, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between, being out there in an ungrounded manner, but then talking about, the multiverse or just deeper metaphysics, why, but from a grounded perspective and a perspective where it's also applicable, you know. And of course, some story times have been for story time, you know what I'm saying? Like sharing certain psychedelic experiences without like no step-by-step list to do this or do that. But, again, it's like just expression again. Like I didn't create this. I am not your guru. I am growing just as much as you. And that energy of, just sensing, for the record, start your YouTube channel like this, because that would feel like so, like I can't even imagine it, I couldn't even imagine being the owner of something and creating it in a manner that ain't in alignment with my authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I do that? Oh, so I could look like I spiritually know what I'm talking about all the time to everybody. So let me, and of course, there is an energy for, there's a certain level of, stability that you want to present, you know what I'm saying? In the sense of, if you are creating like a platform to be some type of teacher, leader, energy on that level, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, yes, stability is necessary, most definitely. Because it's a stable foundation, for everybody to grow. So again, it literally just goes into, what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing, For me, it's again through the YouTube channel, podcast, just again, any form of expression. I even look at when social media came out, like it's funny because I didn't know people were still like rocking with Twitter like that. My Twitter had got so old that it ended up, going into the cyber graveyard, you know what I'm saying? Which that's an interesting thing to look into, like where do that energy in, on a physical level. I would like to research on a physical level, on a, should I say, from a hardware and software perspective with computers on, like, all right, what happens on the internet to our old little pages and all that shit, you know what I'm saying, when those sites no longer keep them up or whatever, and where is that, you know what I'm saying? And again, that human storyline of computers would also align with a metaphysical, mythological, experience as well, or story, too. Like, all right, what happens to energy, But yeah, I used to be a super, like, I always wanted to post like statuses of stuff that was just different, because I always felt like, man, everybody's so monotonish. Like everybody like feel like they're part of the same group. Like they just be big up in each other. without speaking on shit that's different. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, and that's how you see again. That's where you see and sense like, all right, that's your caller, because you see to really, really care about this perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like you value it. You value expressing, your uniqueness. And I renamed that video I did recently, a message to the unorthodox, when I looked at the name unorthodox, and I'm like, oh, you North, which I have to look what ODOX stands for, but you North, in essence, like your North, your compass, you know what I'm saying? Unorthodox. And Aquarius being ruled by Uranus, you know what I'm saying? And that's an unconventional, unorthodox energy, or your North. You know what I'm saying? You North, your compass. You North, your compass. I'm not familiar with solar flares. That's another thing. You know, like making sure that I didn't present myself as somebody who like knows everything. Like I don't know every single thing there is, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's kind of like the stories I brought up a while back. Uh, I used Lucy, the movie Lucy, as an example. But when she vibrated so high, or she got back to that God frequency, she literally couldn't exist in a human body, like, to that extreme, energy. She literally couldn't exist in the physical anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because of vibrating on that, that high frequency, or like showing the car passing. That was on the movie too, where they showed the car passing, but then when the car passing so fast that literally you can't even see the car because it's passing so fast, you still just see the background. You know what I'm saying? And literally, like, think about that, like the vibrational frequency of certain atoms, you know what I'm saying, that we might not be able to see because it's vibrating so high. We see it due to it vibrating at a denser level. You know what I'm saying? You see it with your two eyes, I should say. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the density of it. But I'm a beacon for self-expression, beacon inspiration for self-expression. Of course, upon my journey, there is things I'm tapping into that's a part of, some of the collective narratives of, sovereignty, you know what I'm saying? You know, building that, your soul fam ecosystem and community, you know what I'm saying? But I also realize, like, to play my part, like be uniquely who I am and don't try to be somebody else in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my distant, and I say distant, I have like, well, I say distant for the fact that, when it goes into mentorship and stuff like that, and even having to honor that, it's like, all right, like I'm not this perfect know-it-all being, and there's certain areas I could work on. Let me reach out to somebody who also, do some of the same things that I do, and how they're working with it and working through it, and things of this nature, not being afraid to, ask for help or look into some form of mentorship. ASAP high love already. I'm grateful, you know what I'm saying? Grateful to be grateful to be a beacon, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of, as I'm bringing it up again, the Chiron and Gemini, and I'm looking into that to do that a lot more too. To like have certain pieces to key in on, you know, Chiron placements and North Node, South Node placements. But I think a turquoise, man, like, and that's why I always gravitated to turquoise, you know, didn't know why, you know, but turquoise allowed for me to keep like speaking my truth, you know what I'm saying? No matter how uncomfortable, you know, it made others feel, it's like, I let it fly. Cause also what I realized, again, it's inner outer. It may make others feel uncomfortable, but don't get too like, you know, like I realized in certain moments where it was more so me uncomfortable with telling them the truth, or me being more like, it was, I noticed that it was me being uncomfortable with how they were gonna feel when I expressed the truth, and not necessarily, you know, oh, I'm worried about their feeling in essence, you know. So again, you just gotta, cause now I realize, like, again, like, I'd rather be straightforward and express this shit than to be suffering in cycles and loops just because I'm biting my tongue, you know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck that. Excuse my diction, you know. Excuse my word magic. No coincidence that dictionary, dick, magic wand, casting spells. But yeah. That's another thing too, you know, connecting as you bring it up, you brought up your real name, and I thought of like just people last names, but then also like families, and also like, again, ancestral lineages and stuff like that, you know. And again, being in Louisiana in Opelousas and dealing with, you know, the ancestral energies in Louisiana, because that's been coming up too a lot lately. Matter of fact, what it was on, I made that post on Instagram about Twin Star Exorcist, the anime Twin Star Exorcist. Matter of fact, which is dope. To Your Eternity and Twin Star Exorcist is some dope. They some fire little, you know. Some fire animes. Of course, the only subconscious programming or thing I would say, you know, to be aware of, or you got to be stable at, is just being aware to not get into the dual nature. I feel like that with any anime though, like, you know, not to get into the dual nature of the anime, but for the most part, you know, they all in some way, form, or fashion do it, incorporate like integrity, or showing how archetypes can harmonize in essence, you know. Because that's why I watch a lot of Japanese anime, because their programming is not extensive like how America kind of produce stuff, you know. Like the most you got to worry about with anime is like them depicting somebody who, you know, possibly should be melanated, you know, as somebody unmelanated. But that's like child's play. I ain't tripping on that at this point. Like, I ain't woofing over that no more. I know what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get everything, you know what I'm saying? I extract what's necessary, you know what I'm saying? But To Your Eternity gives it it's similar to the time I reincarnated as slime, and similar to that energy or story of like, again, the no thing, or, in essence, like the void or the triple darkness, or like that bubble, or a void, in essence, like coming into being through each little experience. And I used to always talk about this on my psychedelic journeys, again, like the moment, so it's like the first time a certain emotion was felt, that's bam, that was worlds, beings, and all kind of shit created. Again, like a whole set of tarot deck kingdoms was created when one emotion happened. The moment one being became angry for the first time, there's a bunch of the kingdoms and universes created in connection with that, you know what I'm saying? Or like the learning like our skill sets and stuff like that, to your eternity, was showing again like how he was learning, or the blob or the bubble, grew and learned through pain experiences, as well, and implement that. But I also felt like it also pointed out a more than any other anime I saw, it had like the dopest visuals on seeing, like, understanding the reincarnation process, but then also like seeing it as yourself in essence, and like your ancestors being a part of you, in essence, like that. It kind of gives that energy off. Twin Star Exorcist again somewhat showed that, but Twin Star Exorcist also kind of gets into, again, like, I like it because it shows the nature of, the expression of, again, this physical plane, and how things, leaking into the, how, so let's get into this too right quick, as I'm expressing this. But like, I think of, like, say for instance, you doing some energy work on yourself, like you do some Reiki energy work, because you literally gotta think of it like, like you being source on all levels, you know what I'm saying, in that sense. And of course, again, like, we're not always perfect, but again, as we know better, we continuously do better. Like, I might, say for instance, work on a certain chakra and then pull out a certain like heavy energy. What are you doing with that energy? Are you just like taking it out and just letting it sit? Are you, transmuting it with love through a light? Are you transmuting it through the earth energy? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's like having to recycle that energy, because if you just let it linger, or you just take it out on some like toxic vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like, or when I say toxic, like, or should I say, like, just not disposing of it properly, And then also, like, you could be dumping, your energies into another dimension, or another being's realm, you know what I'm saying? And in that realm, they dealing with all your shit, you know what I'm saying? But you're not, aware of it, or not paying attention to it, you know what I'm saying? Again, of course, if you don't know, you don't know. But again, it's like, being aware of, like, doing our best to, take care of our energetic hygiene, and how that could play out in, like, different worlds. Because that was also a thing too. Like, certain energies getting dumped into the underworld, or the spirit realm. Should I say the spirit realm, you know what I'm saying, in that sense of it. And then things, again, like from the spirit realm coming into the physical. And what also Twin Star Exorcist had a connection with Interstellar. On Interstellar, that little wormhole that they had to go through in order to get to that other planet. That the way it looked like a little eye, almost like a inverted Saturn, in essence, like an inverted sun with a ring around it, you know what I'm saying? Which, hint, wink, wink, a point to, that ancient set, Saturn, Sirius little connection, you know what I'm saying? And again, like, dealing with the quote unquote black dot. But these little portals was opening, and that's where, you know what I'm saying, the beings was coming through those little portals that look like this, again, like that black hole off of Interstellar, you know, which is pretty interesting. See, I'm dealing with some astral. And that's another thing too, you know, like just trusting the process. You know, it'll be as hard, or like say for instance as difficult, as you allowing yourself to listen to those negative thoughts or pessimistic thoughts that's trying to make you feel like you're off or like you're not, you know, on point with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, there could be this energy of like, oh shit, everybody else talk about, and I spoke to this before, like everybody else talking about cutting flips in the astral planes and this and that, and I ain't dreamed in about 10 days. I ain't dreamed in a year. What, you know, it's like, you know, just continuously take care of yourself. Trust in the fact that if you're resilient about your spiritual growth, that you're gonna always be there for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because that resilience is the superpower. Resilience is the key for sure. Oh, yeah. Then I'm gonna post a clip. What it is? They got some new Demon Slayer episodes, and they start off the first one. You know, I'm like, dang, so saucy at like, you know, showing like technically in essence like what, for lack of a better word, you know, what our quote unquote demons are. And again, it's like, it's a fearful energy. It's an energy that's trying to control, and it's an energy that's trying to be stagnated. And hence why we don't judge. Like we just like, hey, you know, like this stagnant energy is not healthy for me. I'm a, you know, work on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a remove and transmute this stagnant blockage. At the same time, there's no judgment because it exists for a reason. And, you know, it feels that its perspective is, you know, valid, you know, in essence, you know. And again, that doesn't mean like, all right, because a parasite feels its perspective is valid, I'm gonna let a parasite just, you know, just drain the fuck out of me. No, it doesn't mean that. Is like, again, in the perspective of, there was the leader of like the demons on Demon Slayer, and he was like, I can't stand change. I love for things to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? And I spoke on this on the aspect of like extreme traditional energy, or extreme moon energy, or extreme past energy. Because again, it's like the balance of the past and the future. Literally, that's what's happening. Every moment is like having to maintain the harmony of our past and our future in our present moment. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward without treating the past like it's something that harmed us. You know what I'm saying? And again, creating our future. You know what I'm saying? Not seeing the future again, like the balance of the masculine and feminine energies, the yin and yang energies. You know what I'm saying? Extreme tradition and keeping things extremely the same, which again becomes like a quote unquote demon or stagnant energy. Just say a stagnant blockage, you know. But again, in the show, it kind of put it in perspective, like, cause even and when he said it like that, I'm like, dang, I'm like, that shit crazy, you know, cause he was like, things that aren't changing don't degrade, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how you could use like word magic to make it a point of like or this is why this is good. This is why stagnant energy is good, in his head, it's like, because it doesn't, based in so many words, that growth is like degradation instead of like, something valuable, you know. And that goes into like, again, the beings that's trying to stay immortal in this bodysuit, and not embracing the fact of the immortality, again, that goes beyond, that permeates beyond trying to hold on to this avatar, an expression of this character in the movie, in our experience. Yeah, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Like, your spiritual practices and approach to it. Cause I see everybody like, long as you know that you're expressing a part of the whole and not trying to force it on nobody. The moment I be like, Jesus' word is the word of, and if you're not following Jesus' word, if you're not following the Orisha's word, if you're not following Shiva's word, if you're not, it's like, and that teach his own, but that for sure, that's not my, again, but I done dove deep enough to kind of have a more holistic perspective to see beyond some of these egregors and, what I'm saying, and certain aspects thought forms that we created to remind ourselves of, maintaining these deeper understandings. Cause I'm like, if we see like mythology is anatomy, anatomy is mythology, then why are we, in which I get it, but where it gets a little kind of like, I don't know, like I'm a person where my church radar always is on. Like I have a church radar that never turns off. So as soon as I get into, this form, like, again, like meditating and, not going to church and stuff like that, I still have a meter that's watchful for people who say, hey, the only way to do this is to do this. And it's like, why they feel like my church? And again, it's like not knocking people. That's another thing too, it's like not knocking people who go to church and any of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, to each his own with, what you feel is your path. Cause I feel like for me, why I stick with, like I feel like my space, what I'm saying, is in connection. And that's why I'm like, I embrace it. It's like, all right, I got a strong connection with the Hindus Kush Valley. You know what I'm saying? I got a strong connection with, that what some may call Kush, Ethiopia to Angkor Wat connection. Cause that, for the most part, that, you could say that lineage or that energy, keep it simple, existed on a physical level from that, in that area, and that's what I always resonated, and I had to check down on certain shit too, like in the sense of like, cause you got to know yourself. I'm like, all right, am I choosing this route because it seems the most peaceful? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I using this form of spirituality to run away from something, or, and like understanding, like, all right, no, you resonated, it all just lined up genuinely for a reason, And I brought up like again like that Naga energy, or just that energy of whatever era whatever era civilization was in when things were thriving in the more so like in what we call modern day India or the Hindu, you know what I'm saying, what the Hindu religions express, the Bhagavad Gitas and all the Rig Vedas, like I feel like that energy speaks to the process of integration more than any other like religions and perspectives, you know what I'm saying? Other ones do too, don't get it twisted. Of course, you got to read between the lines of not taking it so literal of like, oh, this God did this or this, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, again, like I feel like that, and hence, again, meditate, why meditation and breath work and all that is more so important in that area. Cause it's like, mediate, let's mediate, like Tao work, you know what I'm saying? Tai Chi, from karate to, again, from the martial arts to meditation is all about balancing the yin and yang energies. When you come across some civilizations, all about solar power. We were once just solar beings. Or it's only about the mystical subconscious moon. It's only about emotions, when it's really, again, like it's like balancing the moon and the sun. But my phone needs some charging. Matter of fact, like I told somebody, like our phones is like again, like Star Wars happening right now. My phone is like my little R2D2 CP3O. You know what I'm saying? Technology being used in a helpful manner. Cause for sure Luke, Yoda, all of them was with the Force, but it definitely was some moments with R2. Matter of fact, I probably say R2 is probably one of the most clutches if you really watch him. And again, as I say that, which teaches on where your mind goes with it, but it's not to get an extreme of technology. Y'all know better, but just just looking at that notion, like R2D2 came through. Oh yeah, cell phones got radiation, but I got shungite. And I'm radiating. How about that? Because of course, again, nature, first and foremost. But again, it's like understanding the balance of the elements, the feng shui. What the feng shui is, balancing the energies within the house, within the temple, the air, earth, in which they go into like different aspects of metal and water and stuff like that too. And matter of fact, Bridge of Rock go into the different, like, the fire, should I say wood, metal, and those different things. And that's another thing too, working with the metals, because on Demon Slayer, one of the important things is a sword created by certain metals, you know what I'm saying? And I think about, working with the hematite. And I brought up in the past videos about, like, again, like in most movies, how the elves have problem with iron. Whether it was Malkeith in Marvel movies, he had a problem with iron. In the movie Legend, which the movie Legend is, again, a mixture of the Lilith stories and, the predated Bible stories before the Eve story. But anyway, on there, the little elf brought up not being able to deal with iron, you know what I'm saying? And elves, in essence, also can represent, you know what I'm saying, like a mischievous energy, or because I had to learn the tough way with, like just jumping into like, oh, the Devil Kingdom and fairies and stuff like that. And it's like, you got to be aware, like, just because it's nature, just because it's fairies, you know what I'm saying? And again, go study. And then once I study, I'm like, oh, all right. You know, got to be aware of, again, like what type of energies, you're dealing with, no matter, it's like no automatic good just because of, like, again, be looking for blanket statements like, oh, it's nature, so it's just, oh, it's water, so it's all good. Well, let me pour this water down your throat when you're drowning. Oh, it's sunlight, it's all good. Well, let it go to the extreme and see how you feel about that. But most definitely, guys, I appreciate tapping in with y'all. We just finished the 444 mark. 444. Word. Definitely just wanted to, come in. Oh man, don't apologize for being you. How dare you? Now, all jokes aside, though, like, as long as it's not no trolling foolishness, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're good. But y'all know what it is. New moon energy, new moon in Aries. And also got Mars in Cancer right now. So again, like a little energies focus on our home and our mother. Could say sheltering, self-love, self-care, in connection with the Mars energy, which could point to, passions and drives, ambitions, and also though, like the clashing energies as well. So, being aware to not let your Mars energy burn down any houses, burn down any Cancer energy. But I'm talking to myself for healing purposes. Y'all know what it is. Of course, hitting the like button helps for the videos to show up in the algorithms. If you vibe with any of the videos, you could share with others, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get more videos, or you want to be notified as soon as a video come up, like as soon as I do a live, hit the notification bell. Any and all donations greatly appreciated. Donation link at the bottom of most of our videos. What else? For jewelry, Instagram, Epic Lifestyles, EPIKLIFESTYLEZ, Epic Lifestyles. Send a message to Epic Lifestyles on Instagram for artwork inquiries. But yeah, that's basically it. Anything else? Yep, and I'll keep everybody, updated on any changes, because I do feel like there's going to be some things shaking up. But as always, appreciate everybody for tapping in, tuning in, and, connecting in the chats, you know what I'm saying? Bringing that divine energy into the chats, into the video. Again, like, you help creating the space just as much as me on here talking for my health, you know what I'm saying? By you being in the chat and, sharing, and connecting, that's bringing a certain energy, and that's making it tougher and tougher for, these toxic energies to exist in, in these spaces, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to hit the new moon gong like that, you know what I'm saying? Bless it on the way out. Do what we gotta do. Stop half stepping, and at the same time, not being hard on ourselves either. Figure out your energies, and matter of fact, and that's another reason why I like the aspect of the Hindu spiritual practices, and I'll leave off of that, because also, like, some of these breathing techniques and yoga techniques also helps to transmute karmic energies and transmute, because again, remember, astrology is helpful, but it's also like an energy where, like, you're not just having to go down that destined path. Like, no, you're transmuting those energies, and like by doing Tai Chi or Tao work, certain breathing techniques, you know what I'm saying? So certain yoga stretches, you know what I'm saying? You're breaking out of these alignments. Hence why I was able to even think about that, like, doing all these videos, expressing myself without giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been like, oh, my Chiron is in Gemini, so, and you curse yourself to some extent. You gotta be aware, like, oh, so I'm not going to be able to, like, no, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, that 13 energy, moving past those 12 disciples, you know what I'm saying? And then getting into a masterful place where, the stars is like weather more than it having a rulership over you. Like, the rain and the sunlight don't dictate my every action. You know what I'm saying? And nor should it, for you. So it's just having that awareness now is to vibrate, not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now, y'all know what it is, and you know what it ain't. Straight Panther coming through at the end. Peace, fam. Coming through on the 454, 49 energy. The 4 energy, 455, all right. Yeah, man, y'all have a great moment, great now, continuously. We affirm that whatever fucking blockages and traumas and things that were, trying to, you know what I'm saying? Whatever was trying to stop you, it is being removed and transmuted. So it is. Now it's the vibrate. Peace, y'all.